With the uptake of information being spread online, a certain amount of incorrect information or fake news will inevitably be shared. For that reason, a critical component of media literacy is analyzing the source to determine credibility, reliability, and whether it serves the purpose you need. This certainly comes into play when educators incorporate technology into the classroom and must teach media literacy. When looking at and determining whether to use a source online, one way to analyze sources is by using the CRAAP test. The CRAAP test walks you through determining a given resource's currency, relevance, authority, accuracy, and purpose. I'll show you how to analyze a source using the CRAAP test. Currency. We're not talking about money here. Currency refers to the timeliness of the information being shared. In short, is the information in the source up to date? While the date this source was published is not displayed at the top of the page, a short scroll shows you at the bottom of each page the authors and year published as well as the journal it appears in. There is no indication in the margins, the title page, or anywhere else within the source that the research or source itself has been updated or revised since it was published in 2019. Given the nature of the topic and the article being written within the past 5 years, I would consider this article up to date, since it discusses and showcases research regarding pre-service teachers teaching media literacy to combat fake news. It would not be outdated because this information is still relevant. Relevance. For my purposes, this article answers the questions I need answered. It addresses media literacy and teaching media literacy to combat fake news. The article specifically discusses pre-service educators teaching media literacy and how they plan to do so, which is particularly relevant to my scholarly purpose. The audience is clearly an educator or otherwise scholarly community. The language used is reflective of a scholarly audience, and the source provides clear evidence and cites sources to support the evidence. For example, let's look at page 3 of this source, where we see an entire section dedicated to literature review, including the citing of previous case studies on media literacy. The article itself does use a scholarly structure and follows the general guideline of scientific writing, including abstract, literature review, findings, conclusion, references, and appendixes providing evidence. The keywords provided also give a good indication of the relevance of this article for my purpose. Overall, teaching media literacy is relevant as a potential educator for any grade level, so it answers questions I need answered. Authority. Now you can look at where the information is coming from. Who's providing the information? Are they credible? The authors of this article are Todd S. Cherner and Crystal Curry, who both have a university affiliation. Additionally, we can see that this was published in the Journal of Media Literacy Education, which is a peer-reviewed publication, and the Journal of the National Association for Media Literacy Education. A brief search of the authors' names and university affiliations shows that they are both in the field of education, hold relevant PhDs, and focus on media literacy. Page 7 also gives some background information about the authors, which defines them as educators. Additionally, while there is no explicit contact information provided within the article, it was easy to find contact information online for the authors as well as the National Association for Media Literacy Education. Accuracy. Analyzing accuracy is just as it sounds. This is where you look for biased language, whether the source is peer-reviewed, general grammar and spelling correctness, and if the information is based on evidence. Throughout the article, there are citations that help assert that the information provided is based on evidence, as well as a lengthy references section to accompany these citations. Evidence is also directly provided by detailing the experiment performed, how it was performed, and the findings and conclusions of said experiment. While there is no direct annotation that this article is peer-reviewed, page 9 discusses the credibility checks used and member checking to ensure accuracy and reliability when analyzing findings. Additionally, the Journal of Media Literacy Education also boasts a peer review process. Overall, the language is unbiased and academic. The experiment and source are both peer-reviewed. There are no noticeable grammar or spelling errors, and the information shown is proven to be evidence-based. Purpose. This one speaks for itself. For the P, you're looking for the purpose of the article or source. Was it written to be fact, opinion, or propaganda? Is there bias present? The purpose of this article was clear throughout, starting with the title and affiliation. First, there is a clear purpose illuminated in the title that the article aims to prepare educators to teach media literacy and combat fake news. Then, the abstract discusses how this study will use a lesson plan assignment to determine how pre-service teachers approach media literacy. The introduction then explicitly discusses the role of technology and media literacy in our lives before explaining the purpose yet again in the literature review, that the purpose is to investigate how media literacy is integrated into classrooms. The methodology, again, expresses the purpose of this article by restating that the study aims to portray how pre-service teachers address media literacy. An explicit explanation of the purpose is recurrent throughout the entire article and is always presented as fact with no discernible bias. It is abundantly clear that the purpose of this study and article is to discuss and analyze how pre-service teachers plan to address media literacy in the classroom to best prepare them. As you can see, using the simple test to analyze sources, we can build media literacy skills to weed out fake news and pick reliable sources. After analyzing this source using the CRAAP test, I was able to determine that I would certainly use this source for scholarly research.